Hey there, gang. Our final and perhaps greatest battle in Tarkir Dragonstorm Standard will require a united front. But remember, to be one, to be united is a great thing, but to respect the right to be different, maybe even greater. Let's play some head games. Friends, opponents, people who read Isaac Asimov and Zoe over scripture, welcome to Head Games Arena. My name is Jeterex, and today, in our final week of Tarkir Dragonstorm content, we are going to present a united Battlefront, and by that, of course, I mean we are playing blue-white artifacts with the card United Battlefront. This 4-mana sorcery says look at the top 7 cards, grab 2 non-creature, non-land permanents with mana value 3 or less, put them onto the battlefield, rest on the bottom in any order. So to build around this, you play with as many non-creature, non-land cards as you can. Basically, all of your permanents should be non-creatures, mana value 3 or less, so this can hit almost everything in the deck. So you will notice, because I left this in mana value form, that almost everything costs 3 or less in this deck. We have 1 copy of Thousand Moon Smithy, 4 copies of United Battlefront, 2 copies of Kayla's Reconstruction, which counts as a 3 mana value, but you're almost always playing it for 5 or more. Everything else costs 3 or less, and they're all artifacts, which means they all work with each other very, very well. So what's the game plan with this deck? Survive the early game with cards like Glass Casket and Spring-Loaded Sawblades as removal, Iron Crag and Clay-Fired Bricks as ways of ramping or at least getting our land drops. And then in 3-mana spot, we have the most important cards in the deck. Perilous Snare is a 3-mana artifact that exiles a permanent of our opponents. Braided Net taps down our opponent's permanents for a couple of turns, but then you craft it, and it comes back into play, and you can draw cards equal to your to the number of artifacts. Just a remarkable card synergistically. Cryptic Coat is a way to repeatedly trigger Simulacrum Synthesizer, which, if you don't know, you're about to know. Repurposing Bay lets you sacrifice artifacts and dig artifacts out of your deck that are more expensive, so it's kind of a toolback card. And if you know, you know, Simulacrum Synthesizer, this 3-mana artifact, whenever another artifact with 3 or more enters, you get a construct token with power and toughness equal to the number of artifacts. So you see where we're going here, right? We're going to play United Battlefront, we're going to hit a lot of 3-mana artifacts, we're going to create a lot of construct tokens, and we're going to smash our opponents with giant robots. It's enormously fun, it's enormously effective. This may be the most competitive deck that I have played this entire season. So before we head over into the gameplay, I'd like to remind everybody, as always, please like, subscribe, tell your friends about Head Games, leave some comments down below. How excited are you about Final Fantasy? I'm pretty excited over here. But let's head right over into the gameplay. Thank you all so much for watching. Let's play some Head Games. Brooksaw! That's an interesting kind of saw. What do you use a Brooksaw on? What kind of wood do you use that on? Okay, lots of interaction. A little bit of life gain and get some lands. We essentially have enough lands in hand to play United Battlefront. So let's go. Mana is actually perfect because it's verges into planes. Our opponent go to 5 or 6. I feel like I saw 2. 2 mulligans there. Yeah. Okay. We'll start with a Verge. Okay, River, Pyre, Verge means Quarry Steel. So I think I can outrun them here. Yeah, we'll Clay Fire Bricks, get a Plains. Well, because what I can do is I can play Simulacrum Synthesizer on my 3rd turn and United Battlefront on my 4th. So I should get enough big creatures in play at that point that they can't get out ahead. Slick Shot? You gonna bring it with Slick Shot? Of course you are. I don't know why I asked that. So unfortunately, I feel like Slick Shot has to be dealt with, because the incremental damage that they get from it is just so gigantic. So the fact that I only took 1 from it, I have to be a little bit more cautious, especially in these first few turns, because this is where they do the most damage. Like, really, they do an extraordinary amount of damage at the beginning, and then it slowly trickles off as they run out of cards in hand. Okay. I'm fine with these things. 3 damage from the Swift Spear is really not that big a deal. So we do actually, another land is very good for us because it really means that whatever I hit off of Battlefront this turn, I can follow it up with Perilous Snare and Sawblades next turn. But we are going to Battlefront. Double Clayfire Bricks is absolutely the worst things that we could have hit. Just terrible. just terrible. I keep talking about how remarkably strong United Battlefront is, and then it does stuff like that to us. Rask's Forge is interesting. Okay, so I think I take the safe play here. The safe play here is Perilous Snare, the Forge, Sawblade the Swift Spear, so next turn I have 6 mana, so if I draw another 3-drop artifact, I can just hardcast Synthesizer into something else. Otherwise, we're trying to Battlefront again. Our opponent is out of cards, which is exactly where we want them to be. Okay. Battlefront. Just about as good as you can get, I think. So I actually think that I get these two. Sawblades targets the Challenger. Casket targets the token. We're still... Look at all the removal that we played. And we're still in a questionable spot. Because this Synthesizer doesn't do anything without another card. Actually, I think Cryptic Coat will do exactly what I need it to. So can I can craft something. Okay. So let's craft with one of these. Because it makes a blocker. We can crew this thing by tapping 2 other untapped artifacts. Yep, let's see if they're dumb enough to swing in. I mean, maybe the 2 damage is actually good enough. Maybe the 2 damage is good enough, because... Okay. We will play a land for turn. We will play Cryptic Coat. Trigger, make a guy. We will bounce Cryptic Coat to our hand again, and we will play it again. Whew! Barely got out of that. I don't know what to say about your name, 7-Up. You are virtuous. I feel like it's gotta mean something, and I don't know what it is. Yeah, this is fine. Iron Crag into, Iron Crag ramps us if we want it to. Spring-loaded Sawblades deals with the first thing our opponent does, so depending on what our opponent's doing. Nomad Outpost doesn't give me very much information, but we will Candy Trail and Scry. I actually think I don't really ever want to draw Thousand Moon Smithy, and by that I mean I really always want to dig for it. I want to sacrifice a 3-mana artifact to dig it out of the deck, but I will take the 4th land. So now we've got Sawblades holstered. So if it's Mardu, and it's the voice of Reason, or... I'm going to forget the name of that card. Okay, so our opponent didn't do anything. So we can just play a land into Iron Crag. Which feels okay for us because really, Braided Net against Mardu is really strong. Rask's Forge is very annoying. We will take 1 from that. Good news is we can deal with it. Okay, so we'll play Fomori Vault and get the Perilous Snare down. We want to take as little damage from Rask's Forge as we can. Caretaker Silent is solid for our opponent. That was a pretty big draw. But is it what I want to do? So I can Repurposing Bay here. Sacrifice the Iron Crag and get our first Synthesizer. I think I'm gonna pitch both. I can draw one land, right? Yeah, let's draw one land and put the other at the bottom to make our United Battlefront work a little better. This gives us options next turn. Quite a few, as a matter of fact. We can Braided Net, we can Spring-Loaded Saw Blades, we can do both of those. One of them and activate Repurposing Bay. A couple of different options here. Our opponent does not play anything, including a land. So let's get this down. So what we're looking at with Caretaker's talent is probably Mardu control of some variety. I think I'm just gonna play Braided Net and say go. Because it's gonna make a 6/6. And then we can tap down whatever they play and kill it with Saw Blades. Lockdown again? What does it get? It gets the token and the candy trail. So let's sacrifice the candy trail. Lockdown gets our token. We're really playing the slow game here, aren't we? Yeah, let's go Battlefront. So we will do Cryptic Coat, Perilous Snare. Snare picks up the talent. Another temporary lockdown stops us, but we have lethal on board probably. Boy, that's a lot of fun. Yeah, we'll pick up the coat. What's under this? A land. Okay. Another lockdown for our opponent. Gets rid of our things again. Cryptic Coat again. Say go. So we don't have lethal on board this time. I guess if I had played Thousand Moon Smithy there, I would have lethal. I would be threatening lethal again. I can do this all day, said Captain America. What are we doing? Not a lot of outs for our opponent. I mean, I actually don't even know what's in their deck. All they've played so far. It's kind of like a Mardu version of that white-red control deck that you see sometimes. I mean, we saw Caretaker's Talent, and we saw Urabrask's Forge, and now we've seen Temporary Lockdown. Literally the only cards that we've seen so far, though. Okay, I mean, this is a stalling tactic. It will allow them to survive this turn. Yeah, we can pick up Cryptic Coat on their end step. I think from here, Thousand Moon Smithy. Get in for 9. Pass the turn. I mean, they can keep board wiping, but I am literally going to keep making creatures if they cannot deal with Simulacrum Synthesizer. And as a matter of fact, if they can, I'm still gonna exile a creature they control and their graveyard. Okay, we'll exile a tapped creature. Maybe they've got split up and that was a mistake and I should have sacrificed an untapped creature. Split up. Rally the Monastery. These are some really remarkable cards. So do I play the Sawblade? Yeah. Cryptic Coat and Cryptic Coat. That'll do it. Yeah. King Carl. King of all the hippos. Feldegriffs. They're Feldegriffs. Let's make no mistake here. I think this is fine. I think Braided Net and Perilous Snare, these two cards deal with so much of what the meta is doing. Unless you're playing against Sultai Control. I didn't really want to draw another Braided Net. Alright. So we'll get a Braided Net down. I wish it were a Simulacrum Synthesizer. I haven't had a lot of opening hands. Do I bother? No. No, hold your taps until later. Battlefront? So, Repurposing Bay... Clay-fired bricks. We'll get a Plains out, and we'll say go. So we don't know what our opponent is doing yet, other than the fact that they played Italian's Messenger, which we almost never see. But we can stop it from attacking, so unless they, have some protection magic they want to use to stop the Braided Net from hitting it. What is happening? So they played their land already, that's fine. You played Nissa. We're going to tap down your Messenger. So we will play Simulacrum Synthesizer. It doesn't matter because we're going to Repurposing Bay, right? Yeah, because I want to get that Nissa off the board. Yeah, it doesn't matter. Because we want to get out of Perilous Snare and get rid of Nissa. Make a 5/5. Passing the turn. I don't want to be arrogant. Like, yes, we are in a good position, but we have no idea what our opponent is doing, and there are plenty of ways to make our life way harder. The real threat. Okay. Alright. 1, 2, 3. Okay, so I can still do... We should play things before combat, right? Because it makes our guy bigger. So let's play Ironcrag. Let's play another Perilous Snare. And take out one of those messengers. Let's play a Candy Trail. Scry at our next few cards. It's really hard to say no to another Simulacrum Synthesizer. We'll just leave him on top. Attacking for 9. And pass. Very curious what our opponent is doing. Oh, I didn't tap him down. That's okay. Am I gonna be very, very sad that I didn't tap them down? Oh, it's a Viper. Okay. Sure. You got it. They're gonna reanimate the Viper? You got it. Viper reanimated. You made my guys smaller. Land for our opponent. Tap down the Viper. I'm gonna make my guys big enough to, I don't have to. Good night! Evangelion, Neon Genesis. That's a cool name to have gotten, considering so many people like that so well. Yeah, this is fine. I don't like that I'm on the draw with this kind of hand, and I don't have any interaction. So now that I'm kind of talking it through a little bit, I'm wondering, do I keep this? I do like clay-fired bricks into Synthesizer, into Battlefront. If they come out of the gate fast, we're going to be very sad we kept this hand. Okay, they did not play something on turn 1. That is slow enough that I think we're probably going to be fine. Candy Trail on 1. Okay, so we want to draw lands, right? We want to draw at least one land, and we have both of these cards in our hand already, so we're going to scry them both to the bottom. We would very much like to draw a land. Okay, so Slick Shot gets plotted. Clayfire Bricks gets us a Plains, gains us 2 life. Still looking for a land. Quarry Steel Cutter, very good for our opponent. Slick Shot activates the cutter. Pump Spell on Slick Shot. No Pump Spell on Slick Shot. Okay, so I think I have to play Synthesizer here because I need the scry. Yep. And now we see that's actually a perfect hit because I'm going to draw the land. Perilous Snare is going to be on top. So United Battlefront is going to hit at least 1 removal spell. I mean, 2 removals, 2 Perilous Snares is probably best case scenario. Second spell is... Double strike for our opponent. Are we just dead? Are we just dead? Wow. Well, I don't think we are, but we're very close. Okay. Can I not die here? And I actually have to hit at least 2 things that make a Synthesizer, and I think I have to hit 2 removal spells. So, let's see. Okay, one Perilous Snare hits a Slick Shot, 1 Perilous Snare hits this. If they have 2 spells in their hand, we still lose. Isn't that remarkable? That's how good that deck is. Land for our opponent. They could also just have... No way! Alright, Ramzu, Kramzu. Kramuz. Okay. I think it's keepable. I have a couple of interaction spells and I'm on the play. Like, the 3-mana interaction feels a little slow, but I also get to peek with Archive. I'm going to keep this. We are on the play, which makes any aggressive deck a little bit on their back foot because they're on the draw. The aggressive decks are still very aggressive. I mean, you could argue that we're an aggro deck. We just look a little different. Archive. I think I have to dump the Repurposing Bay. It doesn't do what I need it to do right now. That may seem strange, but I don't like to see white-blue across the table. Candy Trail Scries. We will leave Synthesizer on top. Do we leave 4th land on top as the next draw? I'm okay with that. I'm not sure if that's right. It's hard to say, like, but you do want to draw lands. So is our opponent also on artifacts? Okay. Whew. Okay, so we're racing. Synthesizer. Trying to decide if I want that spring-loaded Saw Blades. I think it probably doesn't do anything for me right now. So we'll take the 4th land, and we'll say go. Our opponent's 3rd turn gives them Simulacrum Synthesizer. Maybe Perilous Snares our Synthesizer? Yeah. Yep. It does slow us down. We're going to return the favor. Start the Perilous Snare War. I don't hate the Iron Crag, but I think Glass Casket is not where we want to be right now. Tap land for our opponent. Budget version. Glass Casket doesn't do anything. We will play Iron Crag into Braided Net. Why cast the... Why put the casket on board? Is it because they have Repurposing Bay and they want to be able to play it and activate it this turn? They are on the budget version. Alright, what does their Perilous Snare hit is the real question here. It hits our Synthesizer. I'm okay with that. Battlefront or Reconstruction? Reconstruction scales, so it's Battlefront. Double Synthesizer. I like Cryptic Coat. I also like Perilous Snare, although I do have one in my hand already. 9 damage. We're very much ahead here, but they could have their own United Battlefront. Braided Net for our opponent. And Spring-Loaded Saw Blades does not do it. Good game. Zach, the MC. MC Zach, in the house. Was that cringy enough? What do you think? Listen, if you're watching, I'm in Game 6. If you're watching this far along, you're here for the cringe, right? You're all right. Yeah, this is fine. Clay Fire Bricks gets me my 4th land for Battlefront. Lots of interaction. Excellent. Excellent start. Archive peeks at the next card. I don't want to put it in the graveyard. I need every piece of removal that I have. Island for our opponent, and Indigenous Progeny. Not Indigenous. Ingenious. Flood Farm Verge, Clayfire Bricks. Digs out of Plains. So, Ingenious Prodigy is probably a Prophetic Memory deck. So tense. Our opponent was so intimidated by those Clayfire Bricks that they don't know what to do now. Or... Nope, see, there they are. Excellent. White mana for our opponent and Prophetic Memory. Yeah, there it is. Gets a token. Gets in for 1. At the beginning of your upkeep, you may remove a token. Okay, so we are going to play the planes that they saw, and we're going to use this Glass Casket on that Prodigy. And save our Perilous Snares for bigger targets. Very curious what our opponent is doing. Third land. And the 2/2 flyer with Vigilance. Armored Armadillo as your Beastbinder. Okay, this creature can't be blocked by creatures with power 2 or greater. When it attacks up to 1 target artifact, creature, planeswalker an opponent controls, loses all abilities until your next turn, and then becomes a creature. I dislike that thing. And I can deal with it right now. Or I can play Battlefront. You came here to see Battlefront, right? Not great. Not great. Okay, so I've already got an Iron Crag, so yeah, that's fine. Let's just leave it like that. Boy, that Beastbinder. Well, because it turns off the Synthesizer. It makes it not do anything for a turn. It's hard to play around jank because you just don't see it. So what are you gonna do? How can you possibly play against it? It's okay. Okay. Sheltered by Ghosts picks up the Synthesizer. This thing has Ward 3 now. None of this matters. Sure. Okay. Okay, so... do I just Battlefront again? They're not really doing me that much damage yet, so I can be a little cautious here. Yeah. Alright, so we're going to Perilous Snare, and we're going to take out the Sheltered by Ghost. Scrying 2. And then saying go. I'd hate to, like, lose my winning streak to something that is so very janky. Another one? You got it. Okay. Sure. I'm curious, like, what? Yeah, you got it. Cool. So, I think I just Battlefront here. I don't know what our opponent's doing, but let's get Synthesizer and a Perilous Snare. We'll take out the Beastbinder. Get a giant creature. Scry some stuff. I don't want either of those lands. That was a huge hit. That's like the best hit is these two cards together. Because it gets you a giant creature, scries 2, and removes something from the board. For 4 mana, pretty solid. So what they don't want to do is they really don't want to go shields down here. Gets in for 1 flying. Yeah, I'm okay. Okay, unclear here. What's the ward on this? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so I don't actually have that just yet. So I think we Clay-Fired Bricks. You got a counter? Is that what's happening? Are you playing a counterspell? Just got real quiet in here. Oh, come on, Zach. Don't time out. Land for turn. 1, 2, 3. So let's Perilous Snare again. It's not necessarily a counter, it just feels a lot like it's a counter. There it is. You got it. No perilous snare for me. Get that trash out of here. Yeah, we will. I want that. I want both of those. Whatever. Let's put this one into play. It doesn't actually matter. No, we're gonna hold our 7/7 back until we get more of them. I really needed that Repurposing Bay. Repurposing Bay would have been very bad for our opponent. I think I'm gonna kill that. What do you got? Neat. Okay. Land for turn. Crafting clay fire bricks, which I have never done before. We'll use an artifact out of the graveyard. Do I need to start putting pressure on? Is that what's happening here? I really want to be able to block and kill that armadillo. Maybe I do need to put pressure on. I mean, this thing kills you in 3 hits. Listen, there's lots of hot draws in our deck right now. Repurposing Bay's at the tip top of the list. Wow. Opponents just playing out their whole deck. Getting in for one in the air. Second Synthesizer's pretty solid. Scrying both of those lands to the bottom. Okay. Cannot be blocked with creatures with power 2 or greater. So I cannot block it. And it is going to turn off one of my artifacts next turn. Yep. Target creature you control explores. Craft something from our graveyard and say go. Our opponent thinks this is really nice. I think that they're drawing a lot of lands at the, this very inopportune time. You can swing with the Beastbinder. Okay. Question is, what does it target? What does it target? I have no idea how that came up with 3/3. No idea. Another Azure Beastbinder. And that's our turn. Boy. Fomori Vault. Activate Fomori Vault. Pitching this completely useless Iron Crag. 1, 2, 3, 4. What do I have left? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So... Repurposing Bay does an extraordinary amount of lifting here. Yep. Sacrifice Clayfire Bricks for our last Perilous Snare. For Braided Net. Good game, they say. You got it. Our opponent draws a land and plays a board wipe. Good game. The 35 and sand crab. The sand crab. Oh god, I know how to do this. I know how to read. Okay, listen. We're on the play with no interaction. We're gonna risk it. we're being very greedy right now. Seachrome Coast. Game 7 is the greedy game. Our opponent plays a mountain and a 2-drop. Or a 2-drop. That's how this works. Burst Lightning, 2 damage for us. Iron Crag is a hot draw. Two drop for our opponent. Now that they have 2 lands, not a Braid. Emberheart Challenger. So let's see if RNGesus is really in our favor here. And see if we can hit a removal spell. Okay, Synthesizer Saw Blades. I think that's fine. Tap land Perilous Snare. I'll take it. Being on the play against mono red with what we just drew is very good for us. What's great is if they play something, we've got Perilous Snare. If they play nothing, we've got Cryptic Code. Why did you... That was a huge misclick by our opponent. That was they absolutely should have attacked with that. I would not be surprised if they just scooped to this. Do they have another one? Yeah. It's fine by me. Attacking is not correct here. Not for them. Okay, now we can play Perilous Snare number 2. Get rid of that Screaming Nemesis. That's it! 7-0. Alright, friends and opponents, how did we do today? Well, I love to wrap up a season like this. We went 7-0 on camera today. Just a enormous amount of fun. This is, as I said in the opener, just probably the most competitive deck that I played the whole season, and I knew that this one was around. I didn't want to play it too early in the season because I wanted to try to showcase some new cards, and there really wasn't a whole lot to this deck that's new. As a matter of fact, the only card from Tarkir Dragonstorm in this deck is United Battlefront, but it really ties the room together like a good carpet, doesn't it? It really makes the deck, pushes the deck over into this competitive category, and I think that with the artifact removal that we have available to us now, that it is going to continue to be a pretty strong deck moving forward. So something to consider here, to the best of my knowledge, is that almost all of these cards are going to stick around after rotation. We will lose Kayla's Reconstruction, but I'm not really lamenting that loss. This card is in there to operate as a couple extra copies of United Battlefront, but it is not necessary to the build. But a lot of these other cards are in a part of Standard that is not going to rotate. So really, the more I look through it, the more I think this is going to survive rotation pretty well. So I don't think we're getting any new tricks from Final Fantasy that are going to make this deck any better, so I wanted to play it one more time before we probably don't see it for a while. So, in summary, this deck is amazing. It is very rare heavy, and even a little mythic heavy, because Simulacrum Synthesizer is in big score, and so if you didn't get those cards when they came out, you have to burn the mythic wild cards to get this. But if you've watched my content, you know I've had these cards for a while, because I've played several videos built around this card. So I love this deck. I've been playing it to grind on the ladder. I think that you should too. So that's all we have for this week and for this season. Thank you all very much for your time and attention. We very much appreciate you over here at the Head Games channel. So before we wrap up for today, one last reminder, please like, subscribe, leave some comments down below. Let me know what you'd like to see in Final Fantasy. I'm very curious to see what that standard's going to look like. Very curious to hear from y'all as to what you would like to see me play in Final Fantasy Standard starting next week. So thanks again for watching, and remember, as always, take care of your head.